clearly a revered and great beast god, took advantage of a strange girl while she was asleep, forcibly getting intimate and taking her first time. After finishing, he turned and fled before the girl woke up. Little did he know, his irresponsible behavior nearly led to the massacre of the girl and her tribe of hundreds. Because the very next day after the man left, the girl gave birth to 3 furry little cubs. But the woman, unaware of the truth, thought she had given birth to a bunch of little monsters, so she abused and scolded the cubs daily. Not only did she sprinkle salt on their unhealed wounds, she even broke their legs and handed them over to the hunting team as bait. Under her abuse, the cubs gradually grew twisted, and after becoming villainous bosses, they cruelly tortured and killed her. And Su Yao happened to be reborn into this vicious female's body. Before she could even process it, she heard 2 childish voices by her ears. Big brother, did the bad female fall to her death? It'd be better if she died. If she's dead, no one will abuse yous anymore, but if she really dies, we won't be qualified stay in the tribe anymore. Su Yao felt her head buzzing about to explode. She struggled to stay conscious and opened her eyes, only to see those strange white creatures in front of her with sheep heads, deer antlers, white fur lion bodies, and foxtails. How could this be so similar to the Beast World novel she had just been reading? It seemed she had transmigrated into a book, becoming the vicious female supporting character who shared her name. Immediately after, she recalled Theplet from the book. The original host was resting in a cave when she was. During the mating season, a stray beastman abducted her and forced intimacy, resulting in an unexpected pregnancy. After the beastman's mating season ended, he disappeared. She already harbored resentment, and to make matters worse, she gave birth to 3 little monsters, making her wish she could vent her anger in them every day. From birth, the 3 little ones were seen as monsters, and with bloodline of a stray beastman, everyone in the tribe kept their distance, disgusted by them. The original host also despised them greatly. Growing up in such a hostile environment, the little beastman not only brutally killed her as a living being but also slaughtered the entire tribe once they grew up. Thinking of this, Su Yao's head ached even more. She tried to mobilize the healing power within her body. This was her innate ability, one that would persist as long as her soul remained intact. Finally, the physical pain gradually subsided. She opened her eyes and sat up. The 2 little ones, seeing her suddenly open her eyes and sit up, were so frightened they retreated several steps. Just as she was about to wave them over to lead the way, they vanished the moment she moved. Oh, well, there will be plenty of time later. Since they were not far from the tribe, she quickly found her way back based on the original host's memories. After taking just 2 steps, she suddenly remembered the 3rd child, Sumo. Oh no, the damned original host had actually left this child, Sumo, with the hunting team as bait. Judging by the sky, the hunt should still be ongoing. It was at this time that Sumo was bitten by a wild beast, losing his tail entirely. Without a second thought, she despairingly ran deep into the forest. She had to find Sumo before he got injured. After running for nearly an hour, she finally encountered the returning hunting team. Rushing up to the leader, she tightly grabbed his arms, her voice trembling as she asked, "Where is my Sumo? Why didn't you bring him back with you? What are you going crazy about? That little cub is too badly injured. He probably won't make it anyway, so we just left him there." The lead ORC was startled by her sudden outburst. "How could you do this?" Her eyes were red with anger as she glared at the lead ORC. "He's just a cub. How could you be so heartless as to abandon him?" A young ORC in the team couldn't help but speak up. "Wasn't it you who threw him to us as bait? Why are you pretending to be all Mother Lion affectionate now? I was confused back then. Just tell me where highs I need to go find him. The lead ORC snorted coldly. It's too late now. That area is full of wild beasts. He's probably been gnawed down to the bones by now. Su Yao's mind exploded with a roar. Without thinking, she dashed forward. The ORC at the rear saw her, a female, recklessly running deep into the mountains, and threw the prey from his shoulder onto the ground. Take the prey back first. I'll go check on her. Dyer, it's too dangerous. What if you run into a fierce beast? How will you handle it alone? If something happens to you, how will we explain it? To the clan leader, Dyer frowned deeply, his gaze fixed on the direction where Su Yao had disappeared. She's alone in Thiefrest, it's too dangerous. You've been helping her in secret for so many years. Any debt of gratitude should be repaid by now, right? If she's determined to get herself killed, why bother with her? Exactly. Urano still planning to become her beast husband, are you? Dyer shook his head without speaking, and strode off in the direction Su Yao had vanished. Su Yao sprinted wildly through the dense forest. Sharp blades of grass cut her skin, but she didn't even notice. The thought of Su Mo's injured appearance made her heart ashen at him terribly, even though she had never actually. Finally, she found him in a low-lying area covered with phalenlos. The little white lion Su Mo was seen, curled up in a pile of fallen leaves. His originally fluffy and beautiful fur, now disheveled and stained with blood. The fur on his left hind leg was dyed red with blood, and his once long tail had been bitten off, leaving only a small stub. Su Mo's breath caught at the sight. Words could never convey the impact of seeing it with her own eyes. Staggering, she rushed to his side, trembling as she lifted his center body into her arms. So badly injured, how had he managed to crawl all the way back to the tribe? Step by step, Su Mo struggled to open his eyes, widening them in disbelief when saw it was her. It must be a hallucination before death. That cruel female had already abandoned him. How could she possibly be here? His eyes slowly closed again, filled with nothing but bitter resentment. Why had he been thrown to the hunting team as bait? Only when he was lifted died believe this wasn't a dream. His mother had finally come to hold him, but he was about to die. Su Mo, I'm sorry, your mother came too late. Weren't you hoping I'd be bitten to death by wild beasts? His voice was weak, yet every word was clear. Su Yao opened her mouth to explain, but found her throat choked as if by something. Seeing her silent admission, the warmth of being held gradually faded away. He wanted to demonwe she had been so cruel to him. If she didn't want him, she could have abandoned him, but why let him be bitten to death? Yet in the end, he only managed to say, after I die, could you please be kinder to Su Nan and Su Bei? They can find food on their own. Could you please stop hitting them? Just speaking these few words had drained all his strength. Su Yao shook her head as she examined his body. You won't die. What good is living when I'm already a cripple? Even if I grow up, I won't be able to hunt. When Dyer rushed over, he saw her slumped on the ground, holding Su Mo tightly in her arms and trembling all over. Su Yao had originally intended to use healing magic to treat Su Mo, planning to return only after his injuries were mostly healed. Sensing someone approaching, she had no choice but to abandon the idea and quietly use healing magic to stop Su Mo's bleeding instead. Dyer stepped forward, knelt on one knee, and reissued it to check Su Mo's breathing. He was still alive. We must hurry back to the tribe and find Theshaman for treatment. But deep down, he knew very well that injuries this severe were beyond Theshaman's ability to heal. Even if they returned, it would only be waiting for death. Su Yao did not hand Su Mover to Dyer a beastman. who had abandoned his young was not worthy of her trust. She carried Thepin unconscious Su Mo and began walking back. Before Ish had taken 2 steps, faint rustling sounds came from the surroundings. Su Yao's arms around Su Mo tightened abruptly, her body instinctively shifting Ginto a defensive stance. Dyer also vigilantly moved to shield her behind him. The smell of blood must have attracted wild beasts. Su Yao glanced at Thetal figure blocking her way, but said nothing. She placed the unconscious Su Mo on a higher tree branch and summoned her life-bound weapon, the Blood Fang Vine Whip. Ever since arriving here, her terminal had become unresponsive, but fortunately, her enmity abilities and life-bound weapon could still be used. Seeing this, a flicker of surprise passed through Dyer's eyes, but there was no time to dwell on it. The beasts were already closing in. They were 2 massive saber-toothed tigers. Dyer swallowed nervously. He was only a 3-star beastman, although his strength and speed far surpassed those of ordinary beastmen. He could barely handle one adult saber-toothed tiger at best. Today, we might perish here. Su Yao, climb up the tree and hide. However, Su Yao ignored him. Swinging her whip, she charged toward the saber-toothed tiger closest to her. She still wasn't used to maneuvering this body with enough flexibility. However, her Bloodthorn Vine Whip was coated with highly concentrated Inish powder. As long as it struck, the barbs on the whip would hook into the flesh, and the anesthetic powder would take effect immediately up in contact with the wound. The saber-toothed tiger seemed to look down on her as a weak female. Seeing her charge forward, it didn't dodge but instead opened its large mouth and pounced toward her. Su Yao suddenly leaped to the left, swiftly swinging her Bloodthorn Vine Whip, successfully wrapping it around the saber-toothed tiger's neck. Using the tiger's forward momentum, she pulled hard, slamming the tiger's head fiercely against a large tree trunk nearby. This strike exhausted all her strength. The saber-toothed tiger, dazed from the impact and further affected by the highly concentrated Inish powder, finally slowly closed its eyes and collapsed to the ground. Dyer wanted to rush over to help, but he was trapped by another saber-toothed and couldn't break free. Finally, after killing the saber-tooth tiger, he turned around to see Su Yao already handling the previous tiger. Was this still the Su Yao he knew? A few years ago, after she went missing and was found again, her temperament changed drastically. Not only did she become lazy and malicious, but she also indiscriminately attacked all beastmen. Those beastmen who originally sympathized with her plight were driven away by her maddened beatings and curses too. Afraid to approach, after giving birth, she became even worse. She actually threw the newborn, hairless cubs into the frozen river. If he hadn't been on night watch and secretly fished them out, those cubs would have frozen to death. How did you do that? He was shocked. As a 3-star beastman, he actually couldn't compare to a female. I don't have a male beast to protect me, so naturally, I have to learn some self-defense skills. She cut out the tenderest part of the saber-toothed tiger, strung the tender meat onto a vine, and then, holding Su Mo, continued hurrying back to the tribe. Dyer shouldered the saber-toothed tiger he had killed and followed behind. It was almost dark when they returned to the tribe. What they called home was actually just a cave. Su Nan and Su Bei, the 2 little ones, were standing under the tree at the cave entrance, looking out anxiously. Big brother, do you think the bad female is angry and ran off, leaving us behind? Otherwise, why hasn't she come back so late? Su Nan frowned, trying to appear calm. No, she wouldn't. Even if she doesn't want us, she'd still come back to this cave. Despite his words, a trace of worry flickered in his eyes. When Su Nan and Su Bei saw Su Mo covered in blood and unconscious, they were So frightened they burst into tears. Su Yao felt a pang offer take these little ones. Were so sensible, Ithert. Dyer placed the saber-toothed tiger at the cave entrance. I'll go call Fisherman. Su Yao initially wanted to refuse, but eventually nodded. Thank you, I appreciate. After Dyer left, Su Yao laid Sumo on the stone bed. Su Nan and Su Bei gathered around, watching Su Mo with worried eyes. I need clean water to clean his wounds. Can you manage that? Inside the cave, apart from a large stone pot and a few dirty animal hides, there was nothing else. I'll fetch water, Su Nan said, turning to walk toward a spot covered by an animal hide. Lifting it, he revealed a small wooden bucket more like a hollowed-out log. Su Nan bit the edge off the bucket with his mouth and ran outside. They lived in a cave at the edge off Tri, close to the river outside the settlement. Su Nan returned in about 10 minutes with half a bucket of water. Su Yao couldn't find any clean cloth, so she chose a relatively-clean-looking animal hide. After washing it, she used it to wipe Su Mo down. Su Nan and Su Bei watched as she gently cleaned Su Mo's body, their mouths agape in shock. Su Yao wiped away the mud and dried blood from the fur around the wounds. Another 10 minutes or so passed. The witch doctor slowly walked over and, after examining Su Mo's injuries, shook his head directly. This cub's injuries are too severe to treat. Hesade, then turned to leave. Witch doctor, could you please give us some medicine to reduce the pain? The witch doctor inexplicably looked back at her and finally nodded. Su Nan, go with the witch doctor Tajit the medicine. Su Yao waited until they had walked away, then went over and pulled down the animal skin curtain to block the view from outside. Su Bei fearfully huddled in the corner. Seeing her approach Sumo, he remembered their past experiences of being thrown off the bed and feared that the sever-line gingered Sumo would be tossed aside by her. Summoning his courage, he raised his front paws to block the way. Don't throw brother away. Su Yao was left speechless. Step aside quickly. I need to treat him. Su Bei didn't listen to her and move away. Trembling, he shielded Su Mo. His light gray eyes were filled with terror, and he let out a low, warning growl. Don't hurt brother. Su Yao watched this scene, feeling both helpless and complicated. In the minds of the three little ones, she was probably nothing but a fierce and menacing presence. I won't hurt him. I'm going to save him. Su Yao tried to soften her voice as much as possible, attempting to soothe the bristling Su Bei. Su Bei climbed on the bed, blocking Su Mo and preventing her from getting closer. Su Yao decided not to waste any more words with Su Bei. She reached out and gently grabbed the back of Su Bei's neck, lifting him up. Su Bei immediately began to struggle, his 4 short legs kicking wildly in the air. In his struggle, the antlers on his head struck Su Yao's chin. Su Yao felt a sharp pain from the poke. Seeing this, Su Bei was terrified. His struggling movements froze, and his light gray eyes filled with tears. He had hurt the bad female. Would she throw him to the hunting team as bait? The more Su Bei thought about it, the more frightened he became, and the whimpers escaping his mouth grew louder. Su Yao looked at Su Bei's pitiful appearance and sighed softly, raising her hand to rub her sore chin. All right, I'm not blaming you. Su Bei stared at Su Yao with teary eyes, not believing her words at all. After all, second brother only ate a few extra bites of meat and had his legs broken before being thrown to the hunting team. Don't be afraid. Mother won't hit you anymore from now on. Ignoring Su Bei, Su Yao used healing magic to treat Su Mo's broken leg and severed tail. The healing magic could speed up recovery, but it will take a long time for the severed tail to grow back. The wound healed visibly before their eyes. Su Bei's light gray pupils widened in shock. Could this bad female be a priestess? A priestess was a higher rank than a witch doctor. Witch doctors only knew simple herbal treatments and bandagging, while priestesses could use healing energy to help people recover quickly. Their entire Riverside tribe didn't have a single priestess. Su Yao withdrew her hand, her back already soaked in cold sweat. Healing herself earlier today had consumed too much healing energy, and now treating Sumo had completely drained it. A wave of exhaustion washed over her, and she just wanted to rest properly. She forced herself to a nearby stool and sit down. Seeing Su Yao so weak, Su Bei's fear lessened a bit. It cautiously approached Sumo, gently sniffing at Sumo's mostly healed wound with its nose. Only after confirming Sumo's breathing was steady did it finally relax. After a while, Su Yao felt she had regained a little strength. She lifted her head and looked at Su Bei. Don't tell anyone. I can heal. She was new here, and didn't want to draw too much attention. Having special abilities wasn't necessarily a good thing if mishandled. It could even bring about fatal disaster. Su Bei nodded its little head in naive understanding. Not quite sure why it couldn't be said, but seeing Su Yao's serious expression, I instinctively chose to be. The sky gradually darkened, and torches began to be lit around the tribe. Su Yao suddenly spoke up, telling Su Bei to go light a fire as well, which startled Su Bei so much that he rolled off the stone bed and hurried to the cave entrance to start the fire. A few minutes later, the faint glow of the flames slowly dispelled the darkness in the cave. Su Yao, having adjusted to the dark environment, noticed that Su Nan hadn't returned after all this time and decided to go out to find him. It turned out that after leaving Theshiman's place, Su Nan had run into a few young beast cubs who usually bullied them. Anxious to bring the medicinal herbs back, he tried to avoid them, but was blocked a halfway. At this hour, the beastmen were all at the tribe square, distributing prey, so Noon noticed their situation. These herbs were given to my brother by the shaman. Why are you taking them? Little monsters don't deserve to use our shaman grandmother's medicines. The little fox cub waved the snatched herbs. We're not monsters. My brother is injured. This medicine was given to us by the shaman grandmother. Su Nan tried to grab them back, but was blocked by the little brown baron, the little tiger. How could the shaman grandmother give you herbs? You must have stolen them. We're stopping you from doing something bad. The little brown bear swung its paw at Su Nan. Su Nan watched as the herbs given by the shaman were thrown to the ground and trampled, nearly crying from anxiety. My mother said that ominous beasts like you shouldn't stay in the tribe. You should have died long ago. By the time Su Yao arrived, Su Nan was already brawling with a few young beastmen. Beastmen typically begin transforming at the age of 6, so from a distance, it looked like a few small animals fiercely fighting and biting. The little tiger beastman was riding on top of Su Nan, with both hands firmly gripping the horns on Su Nan's head. They taunted, still saying, "You're not a little monster? What are these on your head?" Su Nan whimpered in pain, but couldn't shake off the little beastman clinging to him. Seizing the opportunity, the little lion beastman nearby raised its paw and stomped toward Su Nan's belly. Seeing this, Su Yao rushed forward in a few steps, grabbed the little tiger riding on Su Nan, and flung it aside like a chick. The little beastman tumbled in the ground, rolling several times before coming to a stop. She then picked up a few of their cubs who had been hurling vile insults and walked over to the nearby manure pit, tossing them in. With mouths so foul, "You need a good wash," she said. This was the place where the tribe's beastmen usually leave themselves. "It stinks so bad," screamed the little fox beastman, flailing in the pit as it tried to grab the edge and climb out. but the walls were wet and slippery, offering no grip. The little lion beastman also cried out, its head and body covered in filth. "You unwanted female, how dare you throw us in here? I'll go tell my father and have him deal with you," threatened the little brown bear. Beastman, still struggling in the manure pit. Su Yao crossed her arms and watched them coldly. "Go ahead and have your fathers come find me. Let's see who dares lay a hand on me or my cubs." Out of the corner of her eye, she spotted the little tiger trying to escape. It had been the fiercest in the fight earlier. She strode over and kicked it down into the pit. "If I ever catch you bullying my cubs again, it won't end so simply." The little tiger struggled in the manure pit, lifting its head with effort to utter more threats, but as it opened its mouth, splashing filth poured in. The other little beastmen in the tribe watched from afar, too terrified to make a sound. In the past, they had often bullied Su Nan and the others. Su Yao never cared before, but today not only did she care, she even directly threw someone into the manure pit. Su Nan stood dumbfounded behind Su Yao, watching the struggling little beastman in the manure pit. Feeling both scared and exhilarated, Su Yao picked Su Nan up and headed home. Normally, Su Nan would have struggled long ago, but this time let her hold him. He had heard those words since he was little, and had long grown used to them. He never thought the bad female would stand up for him. She seemed different. After returning to the cave, Su Yao placed the tender meat of the saber-toothed tiger over the fire to roast. Just as the meat was ready to eat, messy footsteps approached from afar. Several females barged in aggressively, leading a group of beastmen. The leader was a slightly plump female with tangled hair. Su Yao shifted her gaze from the large red flower stuck in her bird's nest like hair, scanning the three robust beastmen behind her. Two other females stood beside her, their hair equally messy and tangled. Who knows how many days it had been since they washed it? Followed be their beast husbands. It must be said, their beast husbands all had excellent builds, and their looks were each more handsome than the last. Su Yao clicked her tongue. They were here to demand an explanation. Her shabby cave was almost too crowded. "Well, how dare you throw my children into the manure pit? Do you really think we're dead?" The plump female leader shouted at the top of her lungs as soon as she entered. Su Yao fearlessly met their gaze and said calmly, "Their mouths were filthy. I merely gave them a slight punishment." Su Nan and Su Bei hid timidly behind Su Yao, watching. Su Yao handed Therastid meat to their lips and gently reassured them, "Be good. Go eat over there." Su Nan didn't take the meat and was even startled into taking a few steps back. This has happened before. He beat up the little beastmen, wobbled them, and their beast fathers and beast mothers came knocking. The bad female not only didn't help them, but even joined in beating them. This time is definitely the same. Seeing this, Su Yao felt as if her heart had been struck by a heavy hammer. She knew the cubs had suffered too much injustice in the past, which was why they were so guarded against her. She raised her hand to touch Su Nan's head, but Su Nan thought she was angry and about to hit him, so he turned his head and dodged sideways. Su Yao awkwardly withdrew her hand, then looked at Su Bei, who was trembling with fear, and softened her voice to comfort him. "Su Bei, trust Mom. This time, won't let anyone hurt you. Go over there and eat the roasted meat. Leave this to Mom to handle." The plump female, seeing that she was being ignored, grew even angrier. "I don't understand any light punishment. All I know is you harmed our cub. You must give us an explanation today." Su Yao put down Therastid meat and stood up, walking step by step toward the female. "What explanation? I don't need to explain myself to anyone. I disciplined your children for you. You should be thanking me." The plump female, furious and humiliated, screamed and lunged at Su Yao. The two females behind her, with similarly disheveled hair, also charged forward. Su Yao sidestepped, easily dodging the plump, deflected the female's attack, and, with a fluid pull, sent her plump female sprawling face first into the dirt. The other toph males, seeing this, tried to flank her from both sides. Su Yao quickly crouched and swept her leg in a low arc, tripping both females to the ground. "You bunch of useless fools!" The plump female shootatus, she scrambled up from the ground, yelling at their beast husbands. "What are you standing around for? Teach her a lesson." The beastmen glanced at each other. Light punishment leads to penalties, severe punishment leads to expulsion from the tribe. The plump female, seeing them still not moving, angrily cursed, "Can't I get you to move? Whoever doesn't act today, I'll abandon them when we get back." The several beast husbands panicked upon hearing this. Compared to being driven out of the tribe, they were more afraid of being abandoned by the female. Once abandoned by their female master, they would become discarded beasts and have to endure the torment of contract backlash every day. A tall and burly beastman roared, swinging a fist toward Su Yao. The fist carried a whistling wind. Su Yao sidestepped narrowly, dodging the punch. Seizing the moment, she delivered a fierce elbow strike, hitting the beastman hard in the side of the waist. The beastman grunted but showed no sign of retreat, turning around to kick at her. "Dire, you useless fool, can't even handle a female." The plump female, seeing her beast husband fail to subdue Su Yao and instead get hit, flushed with anger. She then pointed at other three nearby and ordered, "Grab Su Yao." The several beast husbands quickly surrounded Su Yao, trapping her in the middle. Outnumbered, she was soon forced into a difficult situation. Just as Su Yao was, everyone turned to look. Outside the cave, everyone, stop. The crowd turned to look and saw a male beastman around 40 years old with a scar on his face, walking in. The plump female, seeing the newcomer as if finding a backer, quickly, tearfully, complained, "Chief, you must uphold justice for us. This Su Yao threw our child into the manure pit and injured so many of us." The chief glanced at the several females who had been beaten black and blue. "Did you do this?" Su Yao looked at the chief, her eyes reddening. "Chief, her child insulted my child first. I couldn't stand it anymore and taught them a lesson. Is it just because I have no male to back me up? My cub deserves to be bullied?" The clan leader frowned slightly. Seeing that the clan leader seemed unwilling to intervene, Su Yao hurried forward, tears streaming down her face as she pleaded, "If it weren't for me back then, it would have been them who were captured and abused by the stray beasts. But how did they treat me, their savior? They insulted me, cursed me, and even beat my cub, letting their own young snatch our things. Now, they even want their beast husbands to beat us to death. What gives them therite?" At these words, the cave fell into silence, all eyes fixed on Su Yao. The plump female's face turned pale, then flushed with anger. She opened her mouth to retort, but Su Yao's fierce accusations left her momentarily speechless. After a long pause, the plump female regained her composure and shrieked, "Who asked you to save us? You were the one who willingly went with the stray beast back then. Maybe you were in cahoots with him, putting on an act on purpose." Su Yao was infuriated by her shamelessness and turned to the indifferent clan leader. "Clan leader, you must stand up for me. I risked my life to lure away the stray beasts and save them. Yet this is what I get in return." Su Yao glanced around, tears welling in her eyes. "Everyone knows, when those stray beastmen attacked, if I hadn't risked my life to draw them away, all the females in our tribe would have suffered. And now, instead of gratitude, all I receive is their mockery and scorn. You female beastkin, you keep saying my cub is forsaken by the beast god. But who truly deserves to be forsaken by the beast god? You repay kindness with cruelty, bullying the weak. Aren't you afraid your actions will anger the beast god and bring disaster upon the entire tribe? The crowd began to stir, some looking ashamed as they recalled the day Su Yao returned covered in wounds. The plump female Aji still stubbornly retorted, "Don't you dare scare us with the beast god. It's your little monsters who are despised by the beast god. Keeping them will only bring disaster to the tribe." Hearing this, Subei couldn't help but tremble, while Su Nang glared angrily at the plump female but, out of fear, hid further behind Su Yao. Su Yao shielded the two children behind her and glared at the plump female. "Watch your mouth. What? Despised by the beast god? That's nothing but ignorant nonsense from fools like you. Don't try to argue. Even the witch doctor said they're monsters. Does the witch doctor's word always shave to be right?" Su Yao shot back without backing down. She didn't care if her words offended the witch doctor. If it weren't for the witch doctor's words, Su Nan and the others wouldn't have suffered so much. The witch doctor is just flesh and blood, too. What right does she have to label my children like that? You have no minds of your own, and only use the witch doctor's words to bully a few children. Aren't you ashamed? The plump female is left somewhat speechless by Su Yao's barrage of questions, but still insisted stubbornly, "The witch doctor is the wisest in our tribe, the one who can communicate best with the beast god. What she says can't be wrong. Everyone thinks your children are monsters. Keeping them is nothing but a curse." Su Nan's little face flushed red with anger as she peeked out from behind Su Yao and shouted, "You're talking nonsense. We're not monsters. We've never done anything to harm the tribe." Su Bei also dug her claws into the ground, holding back tears as she spoke up. "We're not curses. We've been trying our best to contribute to the tribe." Su Yao looked directly at that plump female. "Did you hear that? My children are far kinder than any of you. They never thought of causing trouble for the tribe. On the contrary, it's your brats who rely on their numbers to bully the weak all day long. That's the real tragedy of the tribe." At this moment, a female, who had been silent all along, muttered softly, "Even so, their beast forms are just too bizarre. It gives people the creeps just looking at them." Su Yao shifted her gaze to her. "Should they be discriminated just because they look strange? The beast god created all things with their own unique characteristics. Judging by appearances is an insult to the beast god. If you reject someone based on their appearance, then what difference is there between you and the beasts outside the tribe?" The plump female was momentarily at a loss for a rebuttal. "Anyway, no one will accept them." Su Yao sneered, "I didn't need your acceptance. But I warn you, stop speaking ill of my cubs, or he won't hold back." Su Yao looked toward the chief. In this tribe, aside from Theshaman, he held the most authority. If he spoke up to intervene, life for the cubs and the tribe would be easier. "Chief, you also think my cubs are monsters?" Su Yao, "No matter what, all three of them are cubs of the tribe. Rest assured, I won't let other cubs bully them in the future." The chief's words seemed comforting, but did not directly address the issue, which made Su Yao feel even colder inside. If it weren't for the great distance to the next tribe, she would definitely take her cubs and leave this place. She looked at the chief, a hint of disappointment in her eyes. "Chief, I just hope the tribe can treat my cubs fairly and not discriminate against them because of their beast forms." The chief's eyes wavered slightly. The tribe has always revered the will of the beast god, and everyone follows the shaman's words as guidance. The cub's beast forms are indeed too peculiar. It is inevitable to cause concern among the clan members, but since I have spoken, I will ensure they're not bullied. Su Yao wanted to say more, but the plump female interjected sarcastically beside her. The clan leader has already said so much, yet you're still unsatisfied. Could it be that you want everyone to treat them like treasures and worship them? Su Yao gave the plump female a cold glance, and the plump female shrank back, frightened by her look. Su Yao turned to the clan leader and said, "Clan leader, prejudice is a mountain in people's hearts. Although my children have unusual beast forms, they are kind-hearted and will contribute to the tribe in the future. It is too unfair for them to be isolated simply because of their appearance." The clan leader pondered for a moment and slowly replied, "Rest assured, I will restrain the clan members and ensure the children are no longer harmed by words." Su Yao also knew that changing the clan members' views would not happen overnight. "Then I thank the clan leader. But if anyone disrespects my children again, I will no longer hold back." Upon hearing, the plump female and others showed displeasure on their faces but dared not say more in front of the clan leader. The clan leader scanned the crowd present and spoke sternly, "Everyone should help and support each other, living in harmony. Su Yao, you saved everyone, and this kindness should not be forgotten by the tribe." However, throwing children into the manure pit was indeed excessive. Su Yao was about to defend herself when the clan leader turned to the plump female and others and said, "Su Yao saved your lives. Yet not only are you ungrateful, but you also allowed your children to bully hers. This truly violates the tribe's rules." Su Yao sneered inwardly. She did not believe the clan leader was unaware of the situation she and her orphan children faced in the tribe. The plump female and others lowered their heads, not daring to meet clan leader's gaze. Both sides were at fault in this incident. Su Yao, although you acted out of a mother's protective instinct, your actions were reckless. You are punished to join the gathering team and collect food in the mountains for one day. As for the rest of you, each household is fined 10 pounds of meat and 1 animal skin to compensate Su Yao, and you must apologize to her." The plump female and the others showed reluctance, but under the clan leader's authoritative gaze, they dared not say more. Unwillingly, the plump female walked up to Su Yao and whispered, "Su Yao, I'm sorry." The other females also followed with apologies. Su Yao merely nodded, neither forgiving nor refusing to forgive. Peace returned to the cave. Su Yao gazed in the direction where the clan leader had left, pondered for a moment, then turned to look at her 2 children. Su Yao walked over to Su Nan and Su Bei, crouched down, and gently touched the deer antlers on their heads. "My darlings, you must have been scared just now. From now on, I won't let anyone bully you again." Su Yao walked to the fire pit. The roasted meat, which had been painstakingly prepared, had fallen to the ground during the fight and been trampled on, making it inedible. Su Yao picked up a fresh piece of meat, skillfully skewered it on a branch, and placed it over the fire to roast. Su Nan and Su Bai stared at the dirty meat on the ground, swallowing hard. They hadn't eaten all day. Su Nan stretched out a small paw and picked up the piece of meat that had been trampled into a filthy mess. Covered in dust and dirt, the meat still seemed to radiate an irresistible temptation in the eyes of Su Nan and Su Bei. Su Yao turned and saw this scene, her heart aching. She paused from roasting the new meat and said softly, "Su Nan, that meat is dirty. Eating it will make you sick. Just wait a little longer. The new barbecue is almost ready. Go check if Samo is awake." Su Nan, thinking of his severely injured younger brother, gets up and runs towards the stone bed inside the cave. Su Yao quickly speeds up her movements, continuous slipping the barbecue. Su Bei lies at her feet, staring unblinkingly, at the barbecue over the fire. Soon, the aroma of charred fragrance spreads, filling the cave with the scent of roasted meat. Su Nan returns and silently lies down beside Su Bei. Su Yao gently scratches hispily with her toes. Is Su Mo awake? Su Nan grunts discontentedly but doesn't move away. The cave suddenly falls quiet, with only the sizzling sound of meat roasting and the occasional crackle of firewood. Su Yao hands Therastede meat to them. The two little unexcitedly sit up. Eat without worry, it was mother's fault before. From now on, there won't let you go hungry again. Su Nan and Su Bei don't respond to her words, devouring the food ravenously. Su Yao eats a piece of the barbecue herself, it's a bit dry, but still acceptable. Su Yao looks at Su Mo, who remains unconscious on the stone bed, and estimates he'll sleep until tomorrow morning. Just as she's about to call the two little ones to rest in the bed, she notices Su Nan jumping off the stone slab and heading outside the cave. What is this little cub doing outside so late at night? Su Nan, come back. But Su Nan doesn't stop. Walking to the larger tree outside the cave, leaping onto the trunk, and lying down familiarly. Su Nan, why aren't you sleeping on the bed? What are you doing in the tree? Su Nan flicks his tail and buries his head. Didn't you tell us to take turns guarding outside to attract wild animals? Su Yao's heart trembles violently upon hearing this, instantly recalling the original owner's heinous behavior once. The original owner tied them, shortly after birth, to the trunk of a tree outside the cave. Their cave was located at the edge of the tribe, in her entla fraught with dangers. The cave was only shielded by an animal hide curtain. Once wild beasts invaded, they would be the first to bear the brunt and become sacrifices. The original owner clearly intended to use the beast sons to eliminate them. Su Yao's eyes instantly reddened, her heart aching so much could hardly breathe. Su Nan, what's wrong? I won't let you do these dangerous things anymore. Come back to the cave with me to sleep. But Su Nan's stubborn liar fussed to move. Su Yao walked a few steps to the tree and looked up at Su Nan. Mother won't lie to you again. Look, today mother protected you and Su Bei, didn't she? Believe mother this time. Su Nan slowly raised his head. Then promise you won't throw us out again. Su Yao immediately raised her hand to swear. I promises you won't suffer the slight charm from now on. She truly ached for them. She had always liked children. In her previous life, busy with her career, she never had time for romance, let alone having her own children. Now, becoming a mother without the pain was actually quite nice. Su Nan jumped down from the tree and ran into the cave. Su Yao instinctively reached out and just happened to catch his tail. Su Yao carried Su Nan into the cave. The next morning, just after Su Yao returned from washing up by the river, she encountered a beastman coming to deliver meat and animal hides to them. In total, they received 4 hides and 40 pounds of meat. The beastman here already knew how to use salt to cure and make jerky. What they delivered was all jerky. Su Yao placed the hides in the stone bed and hung the jerky on Thududen rack at the cave entrance used forging hide skirts. Looking at the empty cave, she planned how to renovate it. As she was thinking, Su Nan came in biting half a bucket of water, then conscientiously went to start a fire. Su Yao walked to the side and cleaned the heavy stone pot placed on the stove made of several stones. Su Mo was already awake. He was severely injured and not yet recovered, with damaged muscles and bones, so he needed proper nourishment. Su Yao sliced the fresh, tender meat of the saber-toothed tiger left from last night. The heavy stone knife was not handy at all. If only her terminal could be used. It was filled with various emergency medicines as well as many cold weapons and firearms. Bad female, I'm going to fetch water by the river. Su Nan's immature voice interrupted Su Yao's thoughts. She looked at her sensibledest son and flicked his forehead. No manners. Call me mom. Su Nan snorted, bit edge of the wooden bucket, and ran out. Su Yao shouted from behind, brat. Be careful, don't go too far. Su Yao placed the sliced meat into the stone pot steaming with heat. Su Bei lay nearby, occasionally poking the fire. Su Bei, will you accompany mom to gather later? Upon hearing this, Su Bei stiffened all over. Was it his turn now? The warmth from yesterday was, indeed, just a dream of his. I'll go with you. A slightly hoarse, childish voice sounded from behind. Both the human and the beast turned around simultaneously. Su Mo had already jumped off Thebes and was walking toward them. Su Bei's light gray eyes sparkled with brightness. Second brother can get out of bed. Su Mo raised his paw and gently patted Su Bei's furry head. Brother is fine. Su Bei nudged him with his head, even wagging his tail happily. If you don't want to become lame in the future, you'd better go back to bed and lie down now. As soon as Su Yao's voice sounded, the Kier Fulet Mosher instantly froze. Su Mo remembered, just because he had eaten a few extra bites of meat, she had thrown him Toth hunting team as bait. The pain of his hind leg being broken and his tail being bitten off instantly swept through his entire body. The joy he had felt from being able to get out of bed vanished without a trace. None of your business. I am your mother. If I don't take care of you, who will? Didn't you say you didn't want me anymore? Why bother with me now? Su Mo's eyes reddened as he turned his head away. Su Yao's heart clenched, and her tone softened involuntarily. Mother, how could mother ever not want you? It was mother's fault yesterday. I shouldn't have put you in danger. Su Bei anxiously scratched the ground with his paws, looking at Su Mo and then at Su Yao. Gathering with you. Please don't scold, second brother. Su Yao reached out and gently placed her hand on Su Mo's back to soothe him, but Su Mo dodged her touch and shouted tearfully, "You're lying. You heartlessly threw me out yesterday. How could you possibly care?" He almost got torn to pieces by those fierce beasts. Remembering the despair of yesterday, his slightly softened heart was once again sealed off. Su Bei anxiously circled around them. Second brother, mother knows she was wrong. She healed all your wounds, please forgive her. As he spoke, Su Bei nuzzled Su Mo's leg with his head. Su Bei, how can you call her mother? Have you forgotten how she treated us before? Su Bei whimpered pitifully, lying on the ground and pawing at the dirt. After a long pause, he finally managed to say, "Butch has changed now. She is good now." Su Yao looked at Su Mo, her eyes filled with heartache. Just then, Su Nan returned, carrying a bucket of water in his mouth. What he saw was his two brothers huddled together, and he thought Su Yao had taken advantage of his absence to bully them again. Su Nan abruptly threw the bucket aside and charged over furiously, glaring at Su Yao. "You wicked female, bullying them again. I'll fight you to the death." With that, he lunged at Su Yao, claws bared. Su Bei quickly used his body to block Su Yao. "Big brother, it's not like that. Amu is apologizing Xingto's second brother. Amu knows she was wrong." Su Nan stood frozen in place, looking at Su Bei in disbelief, then turned to look at Su Mo. Su Yao carried Su Mo back to bed. This time, Su Mo didn't struggle. "Su Mo, I know it's hard for you to believe right now, but Amu is truly determined to change. Hurting you this time is the thing Amu regrets most in her life." Just then, female came to call her to go gathering together. Su Nan was worried about her taking Su Bei alone and wanted to follow, but Su Yao refused. "You stay and take care of Su Mo." After saying that, she carried Su Bei and left the cave, following several females from the tribe. As they headed outside the settlement, the females traveling with them deliberately kept the distance from Su Yao. Su Yao pretended not to notice, holding Su Bei while scanning the surroundings. I really don't know how she has the nerve to carry that little monster out. Let's stay away from her. Who knows what misfortune she might bring us? One female said with a sneer. Exactly. I really don't understand why the chief still allows him to stay in the tribe. Another female chimed in. Su Bei stirred uneasily in Su Yao's arms. Su Yao held him tighter, soothingly patting his back. Be good, Zhao Bei. Don't listen to them. You and your brothers are the cutest cubs. By now, they were about 10 minutes away from the tribe, with 2 beastmen accompanying them for protection. There's a lot of wild vegetables over here. Come quickly. The female who had come to call Su Yao earlier called out from not far away. Several females swarmed over at her call. As Su Yao approached, one female deliberately bumped into her, nearly causing her to fall. Hey, are you blind? Get out of the way. Don't bring us bad luck. The female shrieked, as if she had touched something filthy. Su Yao steadied herself and looked at her calmly. Mina, we're all gathering food for the tribe. Is there really a need for this? Being around a female like you who gives birth to monsters, we're afraid we won't be able to gather anything good. Su Yao gritted her teeth and held back, turning to search for wild vegetables elsewhere. In this world, no one yet knew how to weave back baskets or bamboo baskets. They all used animal skin bags sewn from hides. Thinking she would need one in the future, Su Yao gathered materials on the spot and made a simple basket from vines. Relying on memory, she interlaced and twisted the vines together. The other females, having finished gathering wild vegetables, walked over in small groups toward Su Yao. Seeing Su Yao sitting and fiddling with vines, her animal skin bag lying flat beside her, they instantly flew into a rage. What time do you think it is? And you still have the leisure to play around with these things? Are you here to gather or to play? Exactly. We're working hard to gather, and she's slacking off here. Let's see how she explains herself to the clan leader. Later, another female chimed in, her eyes full of schadenfreude. Su Yao raised her head. Which eye of yours saw me playing? I'm making this basket so that gathering will be more convenient in the future, and we can carry more things. That's just an excuse for your laziness, a hot-tempered female retorted, reaching out directly to knock over the unfinished basket in Su Yao's hands. Su Yao quickly sidestepped, shielding the basket behind her, a cold glint rising in her eyes. You don't have to believe me, but don't damage my things. So what if we damage it? The offspring you give birth to are monsters. What good could anything you make possibly be? The female was relentless, adopting a posture ready to fight. Su Bei, standing nearby, trembled with fear, tightly clutching the hem of Su Yao's clothes. Su Yao, having been pointed at and scolded repeatedly, finally lost her temper. Shu whipped out a whip and lashed it toward a nearby tree. A trunk as thick as a fist instantly snapped in two. If I hear anyone insult me child again, the next whip will land on you, she declared. The previously arrogant and domineering females were now pale-faced, terrified by Su Yao's sudden outburst. Thief male who had intended to knock over the basket was so frightened. Her legs went weak. Since when had this ugly female Su Yao become so formidable? The atmosphere remained frozen for several dozen seconds until one slightly braver female mustered the courage to speak up. How dare you act like this? Aren't you afraid? The clan leader will punish you? Su Yao snorted coldly. If the clan leader cannot distinguish right from wrong, I, Su Yao, am not afraid. Su Yao continued fiddling with the basket in her hands. Shortly after, exclamations of surprise came from the distance, but Su Yao paid little attention. After finishing the basket, she looked around at the lush, green forest. Suddenly, her eyes stung. She closed them to relieve the pain, and when she opened them again, the world before her had changed. Ordinary plants now appeared to her in several colors: green, black, purple, andrade. Her gaze lingered on a green plant, and after 3 seconds, the plant's name and characteristics paid beside it. She then looked at the other colored plants, each displaying different features and uses. Su Yao took 5 minutes to digest this astonishing information. Green indicated edibility, black indicated toxicity, red indicated medicinal value, and purple indicated thun noun. Suppressing her inner excitement, she began picking the green, edible plants and placing them in the basket, which was soon filled to the brim. By now, it was already getting late. The other females had long since returned, perhaps intentionally not calling her, but she didn't mind. Carrying the basket and holding Su Bei, she walked toward the tribe. Just as she returned to the tribe, Su Yao saw a crowd gathered in the center. She moved closer for a look and saw a female lying on the ground, her face deathly pale. Her lower leg was badly swollen, and the wound showed a faint, blackish-purple hue. It seemed like a snake bite. The people around looked anxious and panicked. Where is the witch doctor? Why hasn't she come yet? The one bitten was that hot-tempered female. Su Yao intended to empty the wild vegetables and then leave. Just as she turned away, Mina suddenly pointed at her and shouted loudly, "It's her. It's all because she brought that unlucky child out, bringing misfortune upon us. That's why the venomous snake bit Ni Duo." Su Yao frowned. Was this never going to end? That's right. Ever since those little monsters were born, nothing good has happened in our tribe. Another young female jumped out, waving her arms excitedly. First, tribesmen get injured while hunting, and now, Sumiones being bitten by a snake. What else could it be but the misfortune they brought? The witch doctor was right. They are monsters, abandoned by the beast god. They should be driven out of the tribe. The female lying on the ground groaned in pain. Hearing these words, the people around grew even more convinced. Drive them away, otherwise, the tribe will face more disasters. Someone in the crowd shouted. Yes, drive them out of the tribe. Su Bei, frightened by the commotion, clung tightly to Su Yao, burying his whole little body in her arms, trembling slightly. Su Yao's gaze fell on the unconscious female. Though resentful of the earlier accusations from the crowd, her instincts as a healer made her somewhat reluctant. Witch doctor, is there really no other way? Ni Duo's several beast husbands' faces were filled with despair. If Ni Duo died, they couldn't live either. The witch doctor sighed helplessly. This snake venom is too special. Unless it's thepriest, there's a slim chance of survival. I truly am powerless. I'll take Ni Duo to the Black Forest tribe to find the priest for treatment. Are you crazy? The Black Forest is a 5-day journey from our tribe, not to mention the dangers along the way. Can Ni Duo endure the ordeal? Are you telling us to just wait for death? Su Yao silently noted down the Black Forest tribe, lowered her head to look at the trembling Su Bei in her arms. This is undoubtedly an opportunity for them to prove themselves. Let me try. Su Yao's voice was not loud, but clearly reached everyone's ears. Everyone's gaze instantly focused on her, filled with surprise, doubt, and mostellicitization. Even the witch doctor can't do anything. Don't cause trouble here. Su Yao ignored the other's mockery, walked straight to the injured female, and took her hand, seizing the chance to input a bit of healing energy to stop the toxin from spreading further. She could actually use healing magic to purify the toxin, but these people aren't worth it, and given the nature of these ungrateful people, if they recover too quickly, they won't know gratitude. They should suffer a bit more. I know of a kind of herb that might be able to neutralize this poison. Hearing this, Ni Duso's two beast husbands, as if seeing a lifeline, immediately knelt down and begged her to save her. Calming down, they also understood that even if they rushed to the Black Forest tribe, Ni Duo might not necessarily be saved. Now that Su Yao said there's a way, that is Thionly hope. Su Yao, please, you must save Ni Duo. It was our duo's fault before. I apologize on her behalf. From now on, will do whatever you ask us to do. Kai, with reddened eyes and a voice choked with sobs, spoke while and kept kowtowing incessantly. Su Yao, please, save our duo. Seeing them in such a state, Su Yao felt the anger in her heart dissipate be more than half. If Ni Duo died, these few beast husbands of hers wouldn't be able to live either. Although she didn't like Ni Duo, she wouldn't let so many people die over a few quarrels. The fact that she could live a second life might very well be the result of saving lives and doing good deeds in her previous life. Get up. Since I said he would save her, I won't stand by and do nothing. But it's almost dark now, and I need someone to accompany him to gather herbs. Dyer stepped forward. I'll go with you. I'm more familiar with the mountains and forests. Several other young and strong beastmen also expressed their willingness to go along. They all understood that if Ni Duo really died, their tribe would not only lose a precious female, but also 5 strong beastmen, and wanted to follow as well, but was stopped by Su Yao. You go preparectly in animal skins and boil a pot of hot water. Su Yao told Subedo go home by himself. It was almost dark, and if he didn't return, Nan and Su Mo would worry not about her safety, but about Su Bei being lost by her. Little Bei, go back be yourself first. Mother will be back soon. Su Bei hugged Su Yao's calf reluctantly. Mother, I want to go too. Su Yao touched theater antlers on his head. Be good and go back quickly. If you're hungry, grill some meat for yourself. Mother, you must come back early. Brother and I will be waiting for you. Only then did Su Bei turn back. Every few steps as he ran toward the direction of the cave. Watching Su Bei's figure disappear from sight, Su Yao turned and walked with Dyer and the others toward the outskirts of the tribe. The sky gradually darkened, and strange sounds occasionally came from the forest. Everyone's nerves were on edge. Be careful, everyone. At this time, the beasts in the mountains and forest air starting to become active, Dyer reminded in a low voice. Everyone nodded, tightening their grip on the torches in their hands. Let's go to the place we gather red today. Where there are poisonous snakes, there must be an antidote nearby. Su Yao remembered that there were many special plants at today's gathering spot. The group cautiously headed in the direction of the tribe's gathering area. However, just as they were nearing their destination, Su Yao keenly noticed something wriggling in the grass ahead. Before she could act, the beastman beside her had already darted out and soon pulled out a green snake over a meter long. Seeing this, everyone became even more cautious. Sometimes snakes, insects, and poisonous ants are more dangerous than large birds of prey. Su Yao's gaze swept around, finally landing on a plant emitting a red glow. She had just seen the name of the poisonous snake on Ni Duo and quickly found the medicinal herb she was looking for. Just in case, she gathered a few extra varieties. After obtaining the herbs, the group didn't dare to delay and hurried back at a faster pace. Upon returning to the tribe, Su Yao handed the herbs to Kai, instructing him to crush them and Eskedon to fetch hot water. For some reason, The witch doctor hadn't left, watching her busy work with the heavy gaze. Su Yao pretended not to notice since she had already offended her. She wasn't afraid of making the offense even more thorough. Dyer, show your claws. Dyer looked at Su Yao with confusion, not understanding why she suddenly made such a request, but still revealed her sharp claws. Su Yao pointed to Ni Duo's swollen, blackened calf. Make a cut here at the bite mark. The snake venom Ni Duo was bitten by is very potent. Relying solely on herbs is not enough. We must first squeeze out the poisoned blood, otherwise the toxin will continue to spread. Even if the priestess comes, she will surely die. Dyer gritted his teeth and nodded. He held Ni Duo's calf with one hand to steady her, then used his sharp claws to make a cut on the swollen, blackened area of Ni Duo's leg. Though unconscious, Ni Duo trembled in pain and let out a faint moan. Help squeeze out poisoned blood. Press like this. Su Yao used both hands to press around the wound on Ni Duo's calf, forcing out the poisoned blood. Dai and Kai followed Su Yao's example, rhythmically pressing skin around the wound. At first, the blood that came out was dark black, emitting a pungent, fishy smell. As they continued to press, the color of the flowing blood gradually lightened. Su Yao observed Ni Duo's reaction and the color of the blood. That's enough. Stop. After cleaning the wound, Su Yao picked up the crushed herbs from the side and applied them to Ni Duo's injury. Everyone gathered around, watching nervously, not daring to make a sound. Only when Ni Duo's complexion gradually regained some color, and the swelling on her calf began to slowly subside, did everyone finally breathe a sigh of relief. The witch doctor glanced at Ni Duo on the ground, then fixed his gaze on Su Yao. I never thought she would actually manage to save her. Everyone saw it. Su Yao and her covenant only did not bring misfortune to the tribe, but they saved a tribesperson. We must not harm our own companions over baseless suspicions. Few females who had accused Su Yao earlier showed expressions of shame upon hearing Dyer's words, and their gazes toward Su Yao changed. Seeing this, witch doctor's face turned even worse. Su Yao was clearly slapping her in the face. If she really managed to save the patient, her prestige in the tribe will definitely be affected. She absolutely could not allow such a situation to happen. When Su Yao re-entered the cave, the aroma of roasted meat wafted over. Su Nan glanced up at her, then quickly lowered his head, pretending not to see. Su Bei, on the other hand, immediately jumped up from the ground, trotted over happily on her short legs, wrapped all four limbs around Su Yao's calf, and climbed up her body. Mom, you're finally back. Brother and I were worried about you. Who's worried about her? Su Nan turned his head away and muttered softly, though the ears hidden beneath his white fur couldn't help but blush. Su Yao smiled, scooped up Su Bei into her arms, and looked at Su Nan, exaggerating her expression as she said, "Wow, it smells so good. Thank you for roasting the meat for me, Zhao Nan. Who said I roasted it for you? I did it for myself." Even as he said this, he quickened the pace of turning the meat. Mom, did you cure that bad female? Su Yao sat down by the fire, with Su Bei in her arms. Of course, when your mom takes action, there's no one she can't save. Mom is amazing. Xiao Bei is amazing too. This burnt piece is for you. Su Nan handed her the best roasted skewer, interrupting the conversation between the two. Su Yao looked at the skewer. Su Nan handed over golden in color with a slight sheen of oil, not a single burnt spot in sight. It was clearly the best roasted skewer. She reached out to take it, and deliberately exclaimed, "Oh, I thought Zhao Nan really gave me a burnt one. So this is the best skewer. Zhao Nan really does love me the most." Su Nan turned his head away uncomfortably. Fortunately, he was in beast form, so his blushing wasn't visible. Su Bei, take this to Su Mo. Su Nan handed another skewer of roasted meat to Su Bei, telling him to take it to Su Mo on the stone bed. Su Bei licked his paws, then bit on Toth meat skewer and ran toward the stone bed. After returning, he plopped down beside Su Nan and began devouring his own skewer of roasted meat. After finishing the meal, Su Yao stretched her body, feeling sticky and uncomfortable all over. She suddenly started itching everywhere, especially her head, which itched terribly. Looking outside the cave, the sky was completely dark. She decided to take the two little Onesto the river for a bath. Su Yao stood up, patted the dust off her clothes, and spoke to Su Bei, who was happily eating. We finish eating, let's go to the river for a bath. Upon hearing this, Su Nan and Su Bei instantly stopped chewing, even their tails unconsciously tightening. Su Nan was the first to snap back to reality, his tone carrying a hint of resistance. If you want to wash yourself, I won't go. He avoided eye contact with Su Yao, afraid she would notice thiefer in his eyes. Su Bei hurriedly swallowed the roasted meat in his mouth, his voice trembling with urgency, his body shaking uncontrollably. Mom, it's dark outside. It's very dangerous. Let's not go, okay? Su Yao, puzzled by the two little one's unusual reactions, insisted. No, we're so dirty. How can we sleep without washing? Su Bei's eyes reddened, and he said with a sob, Mom, I don't want to go to the river. Seeing their strong resistance, Su Yao grew suspicious and tried to recall related memories in her mind. In an instant, some blurry fragments flashed through her thoughts like broken light and shadow. Su Yao suddenly opened her eyes, filled with shock. All right, if you don't want to go to the river, we won't. Mom will fetch water and wash you. Here, with that, she stumbled toward the cave entrance, only remembering halfway that she hadn't brought the clothes. She turned back to grab a clean animal skin skirt and a breast wrap, then picked up a bucket and walked out. Su Yao hurried toward the river with bucket in hand. Recalling that appalling memory, her whole body trembled. She thought being tied to a tree and thrown to the hunting team as bait was already excessive, but she never expected that right after they were born, the original owner had wanted to kill them, throwing them, still featherless and hairless, into the frozen river. After all, they were her own flesh and blood, carried for months. How could anyone be so cruel? The river shimmered with rippling reflections under the moonlight, but she had no mind to appreciate the view now. Vigilantly scanning her surroundings and confirming there was no danger, she quickly removed her clothes and stepped into the river. The cool water instantly washed away her fatigue. She shivered, then swiftly cupped her hands to scoop water over her shoulders and back. Once accustomed to the temperature, she crouched down, letting the river rise past her shoulders. She scrubbed herself in the river for a long time, finally feeling clean as if she had scrubbed off half a pound of grime. She had laughed at the other females before, never realizing her own body wasn't much cleaner. Her hair was oily and tangled too. How did she have the nerve to mock other sisterty? Unbearable. So dirty. And without shampoo, how was she supposed to wash it? Just as she was irritably scratching her head, her wrist suddenly grew warm. Looking down, she saw a bluish flower had appeared there. Her eyes widened in disbelief. Her terminal had finally returned. Instinctively, she touched it with her finger, and in an instant, a virtual interface flashed into her mind. The familiar opera-tingent face nearly brought her to tears. This was no ordinary terminal, it was connected to a vast space, filled with all the things she had meticulously collected in her previous life. From daily necessity to clothes and shoes, and then to the cold weapons and firearms piled up on several shelves. She felt even more confident. Her gaze fell back on the daily necessities section. Su Yao silently recited shampoo in her heart, and the next second a bottle of shampoo appeared in her hand. It was her favorite brand from her previous life. She squeezed the shampoo into her hand, rubbed it into a lather, and applied it to her tangled hair. She washed it 3 times before the greasy feeling on her head disappeared. Then, she applied hair conditioner, wrapped her hair up, and immediately started bathing. A body wash emitting a faint fragrance lay in her palm. She couldn't wait to stand up, spread the body wash all over herself, and carefully scrub. After washing twice, she finally felt refreshed. After bathing, she came ashore, fetched a bucket of water, and headed back. However, she never expected that on the big tree opposite, a bird that looked like a rooster was perched. Its eyes were fixed unblinkingly on her retreating figure. At this moment, it had already transformed into human form, dressed in black and hidden in the night. It had been there even before Su Yao appeared. At first, it wanted to avoid her, but thinking of the purpose of its trip, it dismissed the idea of leaving temporarily. It was precisely because it didn't leave that it got to witness such an intriguing scene. Could she be the variable mentioned by the high priest? Interesting. With a flash, it returned to its bird form and silently followed Su Yao. When Su Yao returned to the cave, Su Nan and Su Bei had already finished eating the roasted meat. The 3 little ones were sitting by the stone bed. But when they saw her come in, they all fell silent in unison. Su Yao carried the bucket of water to the stone bed and began wiping their dirty fur and paws. This time, the 3 little ones didn't resist and let her clean them. Su Yao suddenly felt a sense of being watched, but after looking around and even stepping out of the cave to check, she found nothing unusual. Thinking it was just her imagination, she didn't dwell on it and slept soundly until dawn. As soon as she lifted the animal hide curtain, she saw several beastmen standing at the cave entrance, startling her. Is something wrong? Su Yao, we're here to thank you. Thank you for saving our duo. Is she awake? Kai nodded vigorously, his face filled with relief after surviving a disaster. If it weren't for you, we really can't imagine what would have happened. If you ever need anything in the future, just let us know. We'll definitely help you. Su Yao nodded. She did have something in mind. Could you help me chop some wood from the mountain? I want to fence there. No problem. Just tell us what kind you need, and we'll bring it back for you. Su Yao didn't hold back. About the size of a fist will do, and as tall as you are. All right. They actually felt really relieved that she made a request. This is a small token of our gratitude, Kai said, taking an animal hide from another beastman and handing it to her. Su Yao didn't refuse and accepted the hide. A quick glance told her there were about 4 or 5 pieces. And this, Kai pointed to the bamboo tubes in another beastman's hands. I guess your salt is almost used up. This should be enough for you until the end of the cold season. Thank you. This thank you was sincere. After eating food without salt for several days, her mouth had almost lost all taste. It's the least we can do. There's also some game. We'll bring it to you after we hunt and prepare it. Su Yao nodded, her gaze lingering on the animal hides and the bamboo tubes filled with salt. For her current situation, these things were nothing short of a godsend. She has everything in her terminal, just no seasonings. You're too polite. Her injury still needs attention. Apart from the herbs I gave, don't use anything others provide. If there are any problems, feel free to come find me. Kai suddenly remembered the herbs the witch doctor had sent over this morning and felt a pang of anxiety. What would happen if other herbs were used? Su Yao had said this precisely to guard against the witch doctor, and Seeing his reaction, she sensed something was wrong. If you want her to die, go ahead and use them. Kai's face instantly turned deathly pale, and his voice trembled as he said, "This morning I already gave Duodwo the herbs sent by the witch doctor. What should we do?" His eyes were filled with fear, and his hands, unconscious, likened into fists. In his heart, he kept reassuring himself that the witch doctor's medical skills were superb. So it should be fine. Su Yao's heart tightened. She hadn't expected them to actually use the witch doctor's medicine. She took a deep breath. How long has it been since she took the medicine? Seeing how serious she was, the veins on Kai's forehead bulged. "We came straight to you after changing her dressing. It hasn't been long." Hearing this, Su Yao secretly breathed a sigh of relief. The time wasn't too long. "Wait for me a moment." She returned to the house and quickly rummaged through her terminal, pulling out a small bottle containing an antidote. Although this antidote could cure all ailments, it was effective against some common toxins. She found a clon bamboo section, poured the antidote into it, and handed it over. "Take this and give it to her to drink. If you ever give her random medicine again, not eventh priest could save her." Now, they trusted Su Yao completely. They took it, thanked her, and left. Su Yao returned to the cave again, and saw that Su Mo's leg injury had mostly healed. The broken tail had scabbed over, but it would still take time to regrow. "I need to go up the mountain to find food. Who among you will go with me?" Su Bei wagged his tail and was the first to dart out. "Mom, I'll go with you." Su Nan secretly pricked up his ears, wanting to go, but too embarrassed to speak up. Su Yao looked at Su Nan's expression and immediately understood what he was thinking. "Su Nan, you come along too." "I'm not going." Su Nan flicked his tail and turned his head away, putting on an uninterested look. "Well, forget it then. I'll take Su Mo and Su Bei with me." Su Mo was just about to nod when Su Nan became unhappy. "His injuries aren't healed yet. How can you take him? Just as bad as before." Su Yao raised an eyebrow and looked at Su Nan with a half smile. "Wasn't it you who said it was boring and didn't want to go?" Su Nan's face flushed hot. "I'm just worried about Su Mo. Big brother, you just want to go and are too embarrassed to admit it." Su Nan, ashamed and angry, made a move to pounce on Su Bei. Su Yao quickly stopped the two little ones, taking the chance to rub Su Nan's belly a few times. "All right, stop fooling around. Let's all go together." So Su Yao picked up Su Mo with one hand and carried a rattan basket with the other as she walked out. Su Nan and Su Bei followed behind. One person and 3 beasts left the tribe and walked up along the riverbank. Su Yao wanted to test her identification ability and also look for something that could replace salt. She remembered there was a kind of fruit that produced salt. Along the way, they encountered many usable things. The herbs and edible wild vegetables were all collected by her into the space. Recently, the tribal beastmen have been storing food for the winter. The tribe distributes food to the females every day, but the quantity is limited. The 3 cubs are at a stage of growing, so she must stock up more. Although she didn't find salt, fruit, she unexpectedly came across quite a few yam vines. "Babies, it's time for you to contribute. See this? Dig down along this vine. This will be our food for the winter." Upon hearing it was food for the winter, the 3 little ones were very excited, thinking about how last year they had no food and could only eat snow. To stave off hunger when they were hungry every day. Su Nan still had doubts. "Are you sure there's a smithing underneath? Trust your mother, and you'll have food to eat." Hearing this, Su Nan rolled her eyes, trusting her wouldn't lead to starvation. Su Bei, however, was full of energy and immediately lay on the ground, starting to dig with her little claws. "Don't look at how small he is. He's really good at digging." In no time, he dug out a small hole. Mom, is there really something tasty down here? Su Bei asked while looking up. With eyes full of anticipation, Su Yao smiled and nodded. Of course, as long as you keep digging a bit harder, you'll see the tasty stuff. Hearing this, Su Bei put in even more effort. He wanted to dig more so they wouldn't go hungry during the cold season. Su Nan started digging with a mix of belief and doubt. Su Bei dug with increasing enthusiasm, and finally, his claws hit something hard. Mom, I think I've dug something up. Su Yao walked over and helped Su Bei clear the soil around it. A long piece of Chinese yam was revealed. We really dug it up. Well done, Zhao Bei. Su Nan also came over. He wanted to confirm if there really was food. Dig it out. Be careful not to break it. Su Yao instructed the two little ones. With Su Yao's help, they successfully dug out the first Chinese yam. Mom, can we really at this? Su Bei looked at the mud-covered, dark brown thing. With some hesitation, Su Yao picked up the arm-thick Chinese yam and snapped it in half, revealing the white, fibrous flesh inside. See? Wash it, peel off the skin, cook it, and it's ready to eat. They didn't ask if it tasted good, as long as it could fill their bellies during the cold season. The flavor didn't matter. As long as we don't break the skin or snap it, it can be stored until the cold season. Without a problem, Su Nan didn't say anything and ran back to the spot where he had been digging, continuing his work. Through their efforts, one Chinese yam after another was dug out and piled up nearby. Su Mo watched Su Bei and Su Nan busy at work, feeling upset he couldn't help. If only he weren't injured. Suddenly, a fruit hit him on the head and rolled into the basket. The pain made him yelp. Already in a bad mood, he picked up the fruit and threw it. By sheer coincidence, it hit the tree trunk next to Su Yao and finally to her feet. Su Yao's gaze fell on the fist-sized, bluish-black fruit by her feet. Species detected: wild walnut. The shell is hard, and the kernel is rich in oil and various nutrients, possessing extremely high energy supplementing vol. Su Yao slowly looked up and discovered a huge walnut tree overhead, laden with fruit. On the grass, many half-rotted fruits had fallen. What an unexpected alert! She called Simo to pick up the walnuts in the ground. Amo, gather more of this fruits. They're really good stuff. Su Mo rubbed his aching head. A flicker of pleasant surprise in his eyes. Completely forgetting's earlier disappointment, he jumped out of the vine basket and picked up the walnuts that had rolled into the corners, placing them one by one into the basket. Even the half-rotten ones like these should be picked up. Can they still be eaten if they're bad? This is called a walnut. Only its outer skin is damaged. Inside, there's still a hard shell, and within that is the edible part. Su Bei and Su Nan, hearing the commotion, curiously came over. Su Bei blinked, staring at walnuts on the ground. Su Yao said with a smile, "These are wild walnuts. Eating more walnuts will make you smarter." The two little Anas immediately perked up and wanted to join in gathering the walnuts. You two focus on digging up the yam first. That's the real stuff that can fill your stomachs. Su Bei and Su Nan were very interested in thule nuts, but upon hearing Su Yao's words, they returned to the yam vines and continued digging diligently. She took out something resembling a hoa fish fin from her mid-space and joined in digging. The wild yams were quite large, bigger than her arm. They had only dug up 3 plants when a small pile formed on the ground, enough to eat for a long time. Mom, why is this yam so long? Su Bei gasped for breath while vigorously digging the soil, his little paws already covered in mud, with many mud spots on his body. The longer it grows, the more nutrients it stores, so we won't go hungry during the cold season. Su Yao responded while skillfully wielding a tool similar to a hoe, soon digging out another one. Su Nan was not to be outdone either. He mustered all his strength and buried his entire body in the soil, leaving only a furry little butt exposed. Vigorously digging away the soil round the yam, Su Yao watched his swaying little tail and felt an itch in her hand, really wanting to pull it out. Instead, she grabbed Su Bei. Ouch, Mom. Why are you pulling my tail? Su Bei struggled with all four limbs in pain, but his tail was held tight, and he couldn't break free. Su Yao rubbed it a few times before putting him back into the hole. Suddenly, a dull sound came from the forest, as if some large creature was running. Su Yao immediately realized what she was doing, stood up alertly, and shielded the three little ones behind her. Mom, is there danger? Su Bei whispered, a hint of tension in his voice. Su Yao didn't answer. She stared intently in the direction of the sound, gripping Tho even tighter. As the chaotic, heavy footsteps grew closer, a dark figure burst out from the woods. It was a huge wild boar. The boar was covered in coarse black fur, with two long tusks protruding from the corners of its mouth, looking very formidable. Be careful, this is a thorn-toothed boar from the mountains, very aggressive. Su Yao whispered a reminder, while quickly thinking of a countermeasure. This boar seemed to be frightened. There were also claw marks on its body. It must have escaped from the hunting party. The spiny boar charged toward them. Rushing recklessly, it kicked up a cloud of dust and fallen leaves. Su Bei, Su Nan, you two take Samo and hide in the back. Su Yao stored the hoe into her space and took out her life-bound weapon, the bloodthorn vine whip. The spiny boar's charge was fierce, getting closer and closer to them. Mother, be careful, Su Bei anxiously shouted. He was held back by Su Nan and Su Mo. Su Nan was also anxious, but they had almost no offensive power. Going out would only cause trouble. The three little ones hid behind a nearby bush, watching this side without blinking. The spiny boar charged close, leaped high, and pounced toward Su Yao. Su Yao remained calm and unhurried. She sidestepped while swinging the bloodthorn vine whip. With a sharp crack, the vine whip accurately struck the spiny boar's back. The spiny boar roared dully in pain, rolled on the ground and quickly got up again, charging towards Su Yao once more. Su Yao seized the moment and lashed out with another whip strike. This time, it hit the spiny boar's neck. The spiny boar's movements noticeably slowed. It shook its head and continued to pounce towards Su Yao. The three little onlookers were so nervous, they didn't dare breathe. As the thorn-toothed pig's steps grew increasingly unsteady, the fierce light in its eyes gradually dimmed. Finally, after taking another whip strike from Su Yao, its massive body crashed to the ground. Mom, you're amazing, Su Bei cheered, running out from behind the bushes and jumping Garen Su Yao excitedly. Su Yao let out a long sigh of relief and retracted her vine whip. All right, it's over. Su Nan, however, stared at her now empty hand. Your whip was poisoned. Little Nan is so clever. But it's not poison, it's an anesthetic that can knock out large beasts. Mom, this pig is huge. We can eat for a long time. Su Bei excitedly jumped onto the wild boar's body. Su Yao packed the Chinese yam and walnuts into her space, stared at the wild boar for a long moment, and finally tossed it into the space as well, deciding to deal with it by the river. The place where they were wasn't far from the river, just a 10-minute walk away. It was just right to give the two little ones a bath. They were both so dirty it was unbearable to look at. Su Yao carried Su Bei to the riverside to bathe him, specifically using shower gel for him. Su Bei resisted at first, and it took a long time of soothing before he stood trembling in the shallow water by the river. The water only just covered his limbs, so he wouldn't overly frighten. Good job, Zhao Bei. After the bath, She couldn't help but give him a big kiss on the face. Su Bei was so embarrassed, he forgot his fear. Su Yao placed him on a large rock to bask in the sun, but when she turned around, she found Su Nan had already climbed up a tree. Zhao Nan, calm down. Mom will give you a bath. No, I won't. I don't want to. If you don't bathe, you're not allowed to sleep in bed tonight. Su Nan flicked his tail. Fine, I won't sleep then. I don't care anyway. Su Yao felt both helpless and heartbroken, but she had to steel herself and climb up to pull him down. He had to overcome his fear of water. This world was so cruel, he couldn't afford to have such a big weakness. Bathing Su Nan wasn't as smooth as bathing Su Bei. He struggled so much that splashes of water soaked a large part of her animal skin skirt. She couldn't help but give him a light slap on his furry buttocks. The slap made her even more heartbroken. Beneath the fluffy fur was a skinny, bony body, all bones to the touch. He was the eldest, yet he had less meat on him than Su Bei. Su Nan glared at her angrily after being spanked, but then he met her reddened eyes, filled with a kind of heartache he had never seen before. His struggling stopped. Hurry up and wash if you're going to. Just this once, because she's crying. Su Yao sniffled and rubbed shower gel on him. This time, Su Nan surprisingly cooperated. After a smooth bath, Su Yao placed him next to Su Bei, then looked at Su Mo and patted his head. Amo, you're not dirty, no need to wash. Su Mo felt relieved but also a bit disappointed, nodding without a word. Su Yao took out the wild boar, pulled out a knife, and began processing it. By the time she finished gutting and cleaning it, an hour had passed. The three little ones watched her in shock, but wisely refrained from asking questions. Su Nan, roast this piece of meat. She glanced at her terminal. It was already 2 p.m. She handed a freshly cut piece of lean meat to Su Nan, who was watching nearby. Su Nan took the meat, found 2 branches to skewer it, and started a fire by the river. Mom, this right? Su Bei also took a piece of meat to roast, turning it over while glancing back to ask Su Yao. Su Yao smiled and nodded. Watch the heat. Don't let it burn. Soon, the aroma of the meat wafted out, making the 3 little ones' stomachs growl. So fragrant. I can hardly wait, Su Bei said, bringing the roasted meat close and inhaling deeply. It's almost done, just a little longer, Su Nan said, struggling to suppress his craving as he continued, carefully turning the meat. Once the meat was cooked, Su Nan handed it to Su Yao, who divided it into 4 portions for the 3 cubs and herself. After finishing the roasted meat, Su Yao continued processing the wild boar. She peeled off the skin, cut the meat into strips, packed them into a bucket, and stored it in her space. After that, she carefully cleaned the pork bones, packed them up, and planned to take them back to make bone broth. The 3 little ones were too thin, they needed proper nourishment. By then, the sky was tinged with orange-red evening glow. Time to head back. When they returned to the cave, they almost thought they had taken the wrong path. Beside the cave entrance, a pile of fist-sized logs was shaped. Su Yao looked at the stacked wood, thinking it should be more than enough to build a fence. Just then, Kai Araved carrying a cleaned prey. Su Yao, take a look, is this wood enough? If not, we can go cut more for you tomorrow. It's enough, thank you. They were also busy hunting for winter. She couldn't keep asking for their help all the time. You saved our duoduo. It's the least we can do. After Kai left, Su Yao turned to face the pile of wood, already planning in her mind how to build the fence. It was too late digging holes and setting up the fence wouldn't be possible in time. However, she could start by making a door for the cave. Su Yao measured the entrance and began sawing the wood. She pieced together several logs of similar size and length, securing them with nails. Then, she took out a black titanium alloy door panel from her space, fixed it onto the wooden door, and reinforced the outer layer with the assembled wooden door. It looked both secure and inconspicuous. The door frame was also reinforced with titanium alloy and wood. Once installed, Su Yao stepped back to admire her work. At a glance, it looked no different from an ordinary wooden door, but both sides were fitted with specially made locks. Now, no one else could enter except them. The sky had long since darkened. Outside the cave, torch was stuck in the ground, and Su Nan was cooking meat soup. Su Yao closed the door, took out a solar-powered lamp from her space, hung it in a suitable spot inside the cave, and pressed the switch. Instantly, soft light flooded the entire cave. "Mom, this is so bright. Much better than a torch," Su Bei exclaimed excitedly, running over and circling the lamp several times, eyes filled with curiosity and delight. Su Yao smiled and nodded. "With this lamp, at night, it's much more convenient for us in the cave, and we don't have to worry about the torch going out." At this time, Su Nan's meat soup was also ready, and the rich aroma filled the entire cave. Su Yao took out bowls and chopsticks from her space, served them the meat soup, and placed it on a stone slab nearby. Su Mo sipped the soup slowly, feeling very content. He really liked this mother-in-law and hoped she would stay this way forever. Su Yao watched the three cubs eating happily, her heart warming. "Eat more, you're at age when you're growing." The cave wasn't very big, so cooking definitely couldn't be done. Inside, the smoke was too heavy. If it rained outside, it would also be inconvenient. She carefully examined the cave. The best solution was to expand it, but that would have to be done gradually. The cold season in the beast world lasts for 3 months. When the time comes, heavy snow will seal the mountains, covering all plants and animals under thick snow, making it impossible to go out. But that's not the most dangerous part. During the cold season, food is scarce. Large predators, unable to find food, will target the tribe. Other tribes, in order to survive, will also raid each other's supplies. The mutual slaughter is what's truly dangerous. She observed the tribe's situation carefully. There were hardly any protective measures, just a simple fence made of a few logs, which offered no ability to block beasts, let alone invasions from other tribes. The only advantage was that their location was remote enough. The nearest tribe was 5 days' journey away, so it wouldn't attract much interest for raids. The immediate problem to solve was beast attacks. Last year, there was an incident where beasts went on a rampage and attacked the tribe. That time, over 30 male beastmen were eaten, and more than 100 were injured. It was truly brutal. Early in the morning, after Su Yao got up, she had some simple meat soup. After filling their stomachs, they immediately got busy making the fence. Taking a hoe out from the space, she started digging holes. Su Bei and Su Nan also ran over to help. Su Yao swung the hoe and dug several shallow pits in the ground to mark the positions. "Start digging from here. Don't rush, and be careful not to hurt yourselves." The two Lidiones nodded, using their front paws alternately to dig vigorously into the soil. Perhaps Beko seat was frequently trampled. The soil here was particularly firm. At first, they dug slowly and shallowly, often struggling to control their strength, their paws frequently slipping to the side. But before long, they gradually got the hang of it. Their digging speed increased, and the small pits grew deeper and deeper. "Mom, look how I'm digging," Su Bei stopped, lifting his little head covered in mud, looking at Su Yao with anticipation. Su Yao reached out and wiped the dirt from the top of his head. Little Bei is amazing, digging so fast and so well. Encouraged by the praise, Su Bei buried his head with renewed vigor and continued digging. Not to be outdone, Su Nan beside him, his little body rising and falling with the digging motion, looked adorable. Su Yao occasionally steps forward to help shovel the dug-up soil to the side. Seeing that he couldn't help, Su Mo took the initiative to handle the barbecue. After spending the whole morning, Su Yao finally finished digging the holes for fixing the wooden stakes. She washed her hands and called the two little ones to eat barbecue. After eating, they continued working. 30-meter long logs were quite heavy. She was responsible for carrying the logs and placing them in the holes, while Su Nan and Su Bei were in charge of filling the soil to secure them. Once the stakes were fixed, the next step was simpler. First, several long logs were horizontally to the stakes for stability, then nailed in place. By the time she finished this step, Thiessen was almost setting. "Mom, it done now?" Su Bei jumped on the fence, walking back and forth curiously. "What's the difference between this and the fence outside the tribe?" Su Nan also jumped on the top rail of the fence. "It's not safe at all. Even I can't stop him." Su Yao reached out and grabbed his tail, pulling him down. "It's not that simple. Go play somewhere else." After putting Su Nan down, she continued working, moving the remaining logs next to the rail and standing them upright. Just then, a voice came from outside. "Su Yao, what are you doing?" Looking toward the sound, it was Bo Ya, a male who usually brought them food. Su Yao nodded in greeting. "Nothing much. Just trying to fence off the cave." "Need any help?" Bo Ya couldn't bear to see a female struggling so hard to move the logs. Compared to other females, Su Yao really had it tough. "No need, thank you. I can manage." Bo Ya still walked over to help. The strength of Beastman was indeed great. He could carry 4 or 5 logs at once. In no time, he helped her move everything. After Bo Ya finished helping with the logs, Su Yao wiped the sweat from her forehead and looked at him gratefully. "Thank you so much, Bo. Without your help, I would have had to put in a lot more effort." Bo Ya smiled and waved his hand. "It's nothing. It's not easy for you to raise several cubs alone." It was undeniable that Su Yao was more beautiful than any female he had ever seen. If she agreed, many males would be willing to help her. However, after that incident, she rejected all beastmen who approached her. Over time, the tribe's beastmen tacitly kept their distance from her. Su Yao nodded and threw herself into the next task. She picked up the vines and began tying the upright logs one by one to the rail. Bo Ya didn't leave immediately. Seeing her tying the vines, he joined in and helped. Someone offered help, and Su Yao didn't refuse. Working together, the two of them made much faster progress. By the time they finished, it was completely dark. Su Nan had already lit a torch. The flickering firelight illuminated the newly built fence in front of the cave, as well as Su Yao and Bo Ya's faces, covered in sweat and dust. "Bo Ya, I really owe you a lot today. It's so late, why don't you stay and have something to eat?" Bo Ya refused. Without a second thought, her own food wasn't even enough for herself. Su Yao didn't press her, but before she left, she reminded her, "I know a bit about medicine. If you ever need anything, you can come to me." Su Yao remembered that in the original book, Bo Ya was severely injured during a hunt. The witch doctor declared she wouldn't survive, and she was driven out of Thetribe. Considering the help she had given, Su Yao is willing to save her life. Bo Ya was momentarily stunned. She had offered help with a bit of selfish motive. Su Yao saving Niduo's life was now through to the tribe. Their hunting team was prone to injuries, and there might come a day when they would need her help. After Bo Ya left, Su Yao turned and walked into the cave. Su Nan and Su Bei had been waiting eagerly for her. The cave was filled with aroma of roasted meat. Su Mo had already cooked the meat and neatly arranged it on clean leaves. "Mom, you've been busy all day. Try the meat I roasted." Su Yao took the meat, took a bite, and praised, "It's delicious." Hearing the praise, Su Mo's tail flicked proudly. After the meal, taking advantage of the night, Su Yao prepared to finish their remaining work before resting. Su Nan, seeing she still had work to do, followed behind her. She really was different now. The current her was so good, it was like she had become a different person. Su Yao handed him the box containing nails. Su Nan was clever. He took it and actively passed her the nails. Su Bei also wanted to help but was stopped by Su Yao. Su Bei watched from the side with eager eyes, looking utterly dejected. "Mom, why won't you let me help? I want to help you with big brother too. Be good, go inside and keep your brother company." Su Nan is enough here. Su Bei wasn't too happy about it, but still nodded and went into the cave. By the time all the nails were hammered in, the night was already deep. Covered in sticky sweat, Su Yao picked up her clothes and prepared to go to the river to bathe. This time, Su Nan and Su Bei offered to accompany her. It was so late, a female Alana definitely wouldn't be safe. Su Yao was pleasantly surprised. After a few days of getting along, it seemed the Lidiones had accepted her. By moonlight, Su Yao, Su Nan, and Su Bei toward the river. Along the way, Su Nan and Su Bei were like two little guards, pressing closely against Su Yao on either side. Their small bodies radiated full alertness, their eyes constantly scanning the surroundings. Su Yao had the two children wait a bit farther from the river, while she herself waded into the shallows. Su Nan and Su Bei sat on rocks by the bank, their backs to Su Yao, bodies tense as they surveyed the area. This time, Su Yao washed quickly, mainly because the river water was too cold. What Su Yao didn't know was that, during their absence, a dark figure had appeared outside the fence, carefully examining her new enclosure, running a hand over the nearly invisible black nails, something he had never seen before. By the time Su Yao and the children returned to the cave, it was late at night. They locked the door and went straight to bed. The next morning, Su Yao felt as if several large stones were pressing down on her, making it hard to breathe. She tried to turn over but found she couldn't move at all. Opening her eyes, she found the three little ones sprawled on her in different ways. Su Nan was lying on top of her head, his furry tail wrapped around her neck. Su Bei was lying horizontally across her chest, sleeping soundly. Su Mo had his head resting on her stomach, his paws still clutching the corner of her pajamas. Su Yao looked at the three little ones on her body, both annoyed and amused. "Wake up, babies, Mom is almost crushed and can't breathe." Su Nan mumbled groggily a couple of times. Su Bei rolled over, belly up, still sleeping sweetly. Su Mo was the first to wake up, lifting his head and looking at Su Yao with sleepy eyes. "Good morning, Mom." Su Mo wagged his tail somewhat sheepishly. Her scent smelled so comfortable. He had never slept so soundly before. The cave door was thick, and sunlight couldn't penetrate it, so the cave was still dim inside. Su Mo jumped off the bed and opened the cave door. Instantly, blinding white light flew into the cave. Su Bei and Su Nan finally woke up. Su Yao led them out of the cave. The newly built fence was very high. From the cave entrance, they couldn't see outside at all. A full sense of security. Su Yao decided to first wash the fur blankets and fur mats, then figure out a way to trade for some salt to cure the preserved meat. She also needed to collect firewood and gather food. A pile of tasks awaited her. She had considered throwing away the